from your own internal processing and understanding yourself that you experienced during this time, you mentioned reflection and cultivating peace for yourself and looking at what you want. What was one of the big takeaways from that period and that process, whether it was the process of writing the manifesto or just your own process during that time?
I think this is the biggest takeaway that I've had over the past 5 years. How about that? Which
Even
is
better.
like, and I think about this like almost every day. Um, I think about like, what is the story that I'm writing? Like, what is the story that my grandchildren, like, if God blesses me with grandchildren, what is the story that they're saying? And even when I moved to California, I was like, okay, what's the story? All right, Indigo Mateo got into her music and she stayed in New Jersey with her family because that was her comfort. Like, I'm like, okay, that story's all right. Like, and then I was like, okay, Indigo Mateo, like, flew across the country to find, herself and her music, and she met all these amazing people who helped her heal along the way. I'm like, wait, that story is way better, like drastically better. Um, and I think about that a lot. I think about like people that we read in history books, like the Phyllis Wheatleys and the Sojourner Truths and the Harriet Tubmans. Like at some point, no one was writing about their lives when they were doing it, but they still made the choices that they made. And and I always ask myself, like, how then will I choose to serve? How then will I choose to live? Because I can get caught up in the day to day and I can feel so small and we can feel so insignificant. But when we think about the larger scheme, we think about the big picture, every single choice that we make makes up our character, makes up that story. I was just fighting with this man, not fighting, but debating with this man because I was in Penn Station, New York, and he's on the pole and he's like kind of leaning up against this pole, and this woman walks by and he's like, you look so fine. It should be illegal to look that fine, girl. You got to go home because you can't be out here looking like that, the whole nine. And I had some time because my friends were getting coffee. So, so I was like, hey, like, do you think that that makes her feel good? Do you think that that makes any woman feel good? And basically, with a lot of words, he basically said, nobody worried about me. Nobody gives a damn. Nobody gives a fuck about me. That's what he said to me. And I let him go on and he ranted and said the whole nine about how a million people come through here and nobody pays me no mind. So if I say something about a woman, then you think she really cares? She don't care. And I like talked to him, and at the end of it all, I was just like, I need you to understand that you fucking matter. Like what you say matters. And even if you think that she didn't care what you said, I heard it. And I
Hmm.
care. You see me right now, I give a damn. And and I finally got through to him and he was like, okay, 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 okay. And then I was like, I love you. And he was like, ah. But that's how I love people. And that's how I choose to live. Um, I don't think anyone will ever write a story about that moment, but I think that in 10 years, 20 years, when we see that our culture is drastically different, I think that I will be able to say that I took part in that. I was an active participant, um, and that's all of our win. So.